What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Social Club, where everyone has a voice. I'm your host, Jacob Hale, joined with me by Serge.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Social Club.
Yes, welcome back to St. Louis also.
Man, it's glad to be back. Glad to be back. Always good to come home and see the guys, see the family. You know how it goes, man.
Yeah, well, as you can see, I made a little addition to this. I don't think this was here the last time you were
It wasn't. And I must say, hands down, greatest addition you could have made. Greatest addition you could have made, 100%.
Man, I appreciate that. But for all you guys, definitely subscribe. Check out all of our other content. Check us out on Instagram, The Social Club, where we post every single day. Mm-hmm. Let your voices be heard.
Please.
You guys have said so much stuff to us. We try our best to comment back on everything, but we appreciate you guys. We love you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen. Just subscribe. It's free, everything like that. But, hey, we love you. We appreciate everything. You guys have definitely been letting your voice be heard, and we're always honored by that. And, just...
And at the end of the day, the whole point of this entire program, everybody's got a voice, guys, and you guys have done your part in sharing your voices. We've seen it, we've heard it, we've responded to it. You catch us on the Sunday bits, hopping back in, going back over the comments. Like, we love this stuff, so definitely keep it going. But to Hale's point, you guys know the deal. Every single social media you could imagine, you could find us on it. Go tap subscribe, go tap follow. That way you don't miss a bit of this content we got coming up for you, especially the stuff we got coming up in the future, because there's a lot of good stuff coming your way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Always great stuff. But what are we talking about today? Well, we have heard a lot of news coming out. A lot of bombshells.
Whole lot.
We got to talk about Tory Lanez.
Oh, my gosh.
The big thing coming out is that there's a lot of new information coming out about that case that he was tried and indicted for.
Yep.
And, a lot of people are crying foul, like they have been before, saying that he was charged unfairly and needs to be released and everything. And, well, first, why don't you just give a quick recap of how Tory Lanez ended up in prison, and then from there, give me your thoughts on the new developments.
So from my understanding, as far as like looking back on the situation, it was a dispute between him and Meg the Stallion. It was they had the bodyguard there. I think there was a driver involved in the situation as well too. Got into a dispute, a little bit of an argument, and ultimately, the gun that was at the scene of the crime, if you will, some way, somehow ended up shooting Meg the Stallion in the foot, which, as we've come to now know, was Tory Lanez shooting her, as far as what she claims throughout the entire lawsuit. Now, with everything considered, and that's my SparkNote version, obviously there's a lot of details I'm missing in between that, but with this new information we received this week, I've got to say, and I've never been, a big Tory Lanez fan. You guys know I like my music. I'm big on my music. Tory Lanez is a very talented artist, but I've never been like, in his corner. I don't think he did in the beginning, but I also wasn't as bought in to be like, release him, let him free. It was one of those things I just kind of scrolled past. But finding this new information has changed my entire perspective. If you guys haven't caught up on everything, there was a release of some information earlier this week, whereas it comes to find out that her bodyguard, actually at his own free will, and he said this to the press when he went, I can't remember the name of him, United Media or something like that.
Yeah.
And he came to the press and said, I'm speaking this out of my own good conscience and free will. He had no, what do you call those contracts where you can't say anything?
NDA?
Yeah, no NDAs that he was voiding out, anything like that. He was just coming clean of his conscience. And ultimately comes to find out that the gun had just fell, and when it did fall, 2 shots had let off. That is what hit Meg the Stallion in the foot. Tory had no touch of the gun. He was never in possession of the gun. He never pointed the gun at her. And this being her own bodyguard coming out with this information is quite appalling, because I can't even tell you how far along we are into this, how long Tory's been in jail. I don't know off the top of my head. I know it's been a decently long time. Excuse my voice crack. I'm hitting puberty.
I know for sure it's definitely been a year. Could be a little bit longer.
I know it's been at least a year. Definitely been at least a year. And to be wrongfully convicted and be in jail for that long is one thing, but if you look at the grand scope of it too, if you look at when this information was released and when they went back to Meg's lawyers with said information, said, we got some updated evidence that we want to review with you guys, and you're like, okay, well, what's that evidence? The next day, Tory Lanez is stabbed nearly to death. I think they counted 14 stab wounds. Rushed to the hospital. At this point, they're calling for him to be pardoned and everything else, not have to go back to that jail cell. But I just really personally, that's not a coincidence. And I could be blind. I could be naive. I don't know. And you guys might feel a different way as well, too. But I just don't think that's a coincidence that within 24 hours of them, hearing about this new evidence that's been released and not even knowing exactly what it is, they didn't share the details yet. The legal teams hadn't cross-referenced. They were just like, what's the updated info? That same day, Tory Lanez gets stabbed nearly to death. It was an attempted homicide, 100%.
Yeah. You
don't stab somebody 14 times and be like, is he okay? Like, it doesn't happen. So it's crazy, man. It's very crazy to see that in the news, and I hope that, justice does get served in the right ways, but I want to hear what are your thoughts on everything after you kind of read over the articles.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a conspiracy theorist. I used to think they were fun. I didn't take them too seriously and all that stuff. And then the longer I've lived, the more I realize that these conspiracy theorists are batting 1,000 right now. It's very insane. So for anyone out there that's saying like him getting stabbed was a coincidence, I don't buy it at all. I've seen way crazier things that have ended up being true.
Exactly.
So, for you to say that it was planned, I definitely could see that. I'm on that side as well, that there was some type of coordination with that as well. Here, I have 2 points to make.
Let's hear it.
Well, actually, I have 3 points to make.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, get cozy.
Let's start off with the easy one. Number 1, if you think Donald J. Trump is going to pardon Tory Lanez, it ain't happening. Just don't waste your time. I'm sorry, guys. It ain't happening. He got so much stuff. He got so much other stuff going on. He don't even know who Tory Lanez is. It's
no
not
idea.
Gonna,
it's not gonna happen.
I don't know why people are throwing out pardons like that. Like they think they can just call him.
Yeah, but like, hey, go ahead, let him go. Yeah. Like it's a bit more complicated.
Like the optics, and then and this actually goes to my second point, is that go back to what was he charged with? To really understand if this is even a viable option. So yes, he was charged with shooting the firearm, right? But more importantly, and what people forget is that he was already a felon.
True.
So he couldn't have had a firearm to begin with.
True.
And that's very important. And then there was a third charge, which I'm blanking on right now. But he had 3 charges that he was indicted for.
I can't think of it either.
But that second one is the most important. That people need to remember is that, okay, they retried this case. The most you can get is a shorter sentence out of this, or just do justice. There's nothing wrong with that. But he's not going to walk free.
No.
Because he still did commit a crime that he was indicted for. Him being a felon and in possession of a firearm itself is a crime.
It is indeed.
So he would have been in jail anyway. So, unfortunately, there's no area where I see him getting out of jail with this. And more importantly, if you're a person with laws, he shouldn't get out of jail, to be honest.
That's very true. That's very true.
And the third thing that I would say is, which is very important, is that we need to put something together that Meg Thee Stallion's bodyguard needs to serve time also.
True.
Like, this isn't information that you can just wait this long to get. Like, there needs to be punishment for this. I don't understand any of this where people are coming out 5-10 years later about a case where someone's riding in prison. And then you want to say, oh, this is out of my good conscience that I want to say. I'm like, listen.
That matters. That matters.
Listen, you're almost better off just keeping it to yourself at this point. Because if you didn't say it at the beginning to actually help the guy out, why would you say it now where it's already way too late, way too late? You got to spend so much money to even get a judge to hear this at this point. It's like...
It just complicates it.
Yeah.
And if anything, it doesn't do any justice. It doesn't do you any mental justice. You're not coming clean of anything. Like, you might have got it off your chest, but at the end of the day, like, you're now going to be a star on the stand. Like, you got to tell that to the jury, the judge, and everybody else if you want that to stick to, go forward with any shortened sentencing, anything like that. So at that point, why even speak? Like, I'll give it to the guy. I guess I'm glad you did come to the forefront and, speak on your own sins, but you honestly could have kept it to yourself at this point. There's a lot of different angles to look at it. I think that, and I speak for most of the audience when I say that, I imagine, but I agree with you. I mean, he's not getting pardoned. In a perfect world, sure, but as you all know, we don't live in a perfect world.
it's not even a perfect world. I mean, he still committed a crime and he died.
Exactly.
So, like I said before, he would have been in jail anyway. But yeah, I mean, I'm so tired of this fake virtuing that randomly this friend comes out or I'm gonna release a book with detailed information. I'm like, come
Everybody
on,
wants to write a damn book.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. Yeah, no one writes nonfiction, no one writes fiction anymore. No one writes about cartoons. They're always writing about things 10 years late. It's crazy.
Gosh,
it's so crazy. But